Hey, what's up, guys? This is Bassrock here with my first tutorial. I know you guys wanted a lot of mastering and compression and EQ and stuff like that. You know, that's the hard part. You know, the mix down and whatnot. But fortunately, my sound cards, it's not recording the audio out. This computer is just like damaged after years of use. 3 years. That's how computers go, though. But unfortunately, because of that, the audio quality probably wouldn't be good enough to hear the really subtle nuances that you get from, correctly compressing and EQing and whatnot. Not to say that the differences aren't, very, very large, but I would much rather do it with proper audio. So I do apologize for the audio quality, but however, it will be good enough for what we're doing today, which is we're going to craft a big room house lead. And this is a very versatile lead. I've used it in Rave Sluts, Prize Fighter, some songs I haven't released called Metallurgy, Assassin, a couple others. So basically what I've got right here is I've got just a basic, I've got some chords to go along with it, and I've got I whipped this up in like literally a minute. I just dragged a chord that I had from my saved note data and slapped some drums on it. So this is what you have right now. So we're going to add some note data. It's just a basic big room house lead melody. Something like that. So on top it sounds like this. I like to call this a 4-chord reactant structure, in that you have a lead that is duplicated either twice or 4 times, and it reacts differently with each of the chords. Doesn't have to be this chord structure; it could be any, almost any chord structure. And it's an easy way of crafting melodies, especially for big room house. It works really well. So we're going to jump right into it. First thing we're going to do here is, okay, all the oscillators are turned on. Thank you. That's better than last time. Set all these to filter 1 because my ADD will kick in and I'll forget that later. So what we're going to do now is first we're going to turn these up. I should probably turn them down a little bit. And let's see, let's move this one down and this one up. So you can get more of a full sound by covering more frequency ranges. However, if you have a lot of stuff in your mix, a lot of bass, a lot of chords, a lot of whatnot, like I tend to have, I wouldn't necessarily do this. I would keep them closer to maybe 0 or minus 12 or plus 12. It's really up to you. I like this lead higher, so I would go for plus 12 or 0. Just because then you're covering less of a frequency range and it fits better in the mix. So what we're going to do now is, hey, let's add a filter, because this is going to be giving us the big part of our sound. Let's put the cutoff up here, so that we have room to play with it a little bit. Put the resonance up just a little bit so you can catch a little more of the higher frequencies and get some brilliance in there. And let's do one thing. Let's fatten this up. Let's get a classic tube in here, which tends to be a little bit more drivey. There we go. And then let's go to the voicing here, and let's turn the unisono up to 16. And the trick with these, the polyphon, monophon, monorotate, is the voicing will react differently with each note when you get into more complex synths. And so you want to select monophon, usually, if you're doing monophon and monorotate, which will allow you to use Portamento functions. And the trick to these Portamento functions is you have 3 settings. You have always legato and legato triller. Legato in music means you want the notes to run together smoothly. I've never understood what the hell legato did in any of the synths. What legato triller does in this, though, is it's the same as a target on any other synth, such as Nexus, where the first note will slide to the second note if they're overlapping, and always will just slide from one note to the next, no matter no matter if they're overlapping or not. And so polyphon, you can build chords with this, but monophon and monorotate, those are what you want to focus on if you're doing Portamento. So let's add some Portamento here. Let's bring it up to about halfway, and this is what it sounds like so far. So we want to bring this down a little bit. And let's bring this down a little because we're overpowering those chords. So, and because we're also occupying the same frequency range as those chords, let's actually bring this up by 12, and we may be able to actually hear the chords a little bit better. Alright, so yeah, so that's definitely easier to hear. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add an LFO to this sound. LFO stands for low frequency oscillator. Generally, I forget the number, it's like under 30, no, it can't be 30 because there's 30 second notes. Anyways, it's a lower frequency oscillator, obviously. So let's bring this up to 16. That's a nice in-between number. Let's bring the amp all the way down. Well, I'll just show you what it sounds like when we have the amp up. Also, we're going to apply this to the pitch. This is how a lot of people get their funky sound. Flux Pavilion, Medean, especially Medean. This is used a lot in new disco, which is another term for French house. Beatport doesn't call it French house, they call it new disco. I have no idea why. So, like, people like TPR and Justice, they do this a lot. So, yeah, halfway. So you get something that sounds like this. That's just a little too funky for my taste to keep that up all the time. So let's bring that back down, and let's do something. Let's add a macro. You can't see. Oh, you can, I guess. Just barely. What macros do is they allow you to just control everything really easily down here. So, like if I wanted to apply this to the amp, and let's say I wanted to get really crazy and apply this to the resonance too, so that when this gets up, maybe the resonance gets brought up a little bit. It'll bring both of them up at the same time just by touching this knob, which is really cool. So now that I just touched that knob, let's create an automation clip. You do that by going up to the top arrow here if you're in FL Studio, and last tweaked parameter. You have to actually move the parameter before you can do that. And then let's do something else, and holy hell, that's a long clip. Oh, that's because I have that up there. So let's cut this, and let's just select this portion right here, and let's do something else. I like to also add pitch bend. We're just going to take this 2 steps at a time because you're big people and you can handle it. Alright, so jeez, it's late. Oh gosh. Okay, so drag these up to 3. 3 is a nice number. Okay, so bring this down to, let's say, a half beat so I can get in here. And you want to look for these big meaty notes. I didn't make a clip yet. That would probably help if I did that, right? So, yeah. Drag this up, tweak it, bring it down, make the clip. Now, this is really cool. I did this in a song called Horsepower that I kind of released. Not really, I put it on SoundCloud, but I didn't actually officially release it. But what you can do now is, it sounds really funky if you have it going up on the synth that's already going up and it's going to be going down further. It just, oh gosh, funk for days. Okay, so that's the thing right now. Now we're gonna add an LFO, and let's put it on this quarter note here because we're gonna drag it up. So what it's gonna be doing is when this is up all the way over here, it's gonna be up to here all the way. Actually, that's a little far. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do that. A little farther. Perfect. I'm a perfectionist sometimes. And then it's gonna be down the rest of the time. It's gonna be ignoring that LFO because the amp's gonna be down. So now it sounds a little something like this. Ooh, funky, funky, funky. Okay, now what we want to do, because it's big room house, that could be funky house too. God, I love me some funky house. So we're going to turn this up right here, right, yeah, and right about, yeah. Okay, and that should give us, well, a hell of a lot of reverb. Turn it up even more. And that is a long release time. But that's basically how you craft the sound. And there's probably a whole bunch more stuff you could do to this. If you wanted, you could automate the reverb time so that it only comes up on certain notes, which would be kind of weird. But hey, sometimes music is about getting weird. So that's the basic way to craft this lead, and some things you can do with it. You don't have to do the automation with the LFO. You can just have that up all the time. I've done that occasionally. This has been Bassrock with a synth tutorial. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/bassrockofficial. Same thing with SoundCloud/bassrockofficial. Hopefully, obviously my YouTube's, if you're watching this, it's on YouTube. So yeah, go like it. I got some stuff coming out on Fede Legrand's label, Flamingo Records. I got some stuff. Got like 10 tracks coming out on Eden. It's all this stuff's gonna be on Beatport, and I'm hoping to get this song on Tiesto's label, Musical Freedom. So thanks for watching, guys, and keep up to date with all my shit. Thanks.